I am greatly, greatly honored, and I shall treasure this award. I truly feel very undeserving. I'm really a rotten bird man. I look at those little brown jobs over there, and I think I wish they were birds of paradise, because I know about them, but those little ones go. I'm not too good on those. Of course, I'm half deaf, you see. That's one of the saving graces of old age, is that you aren't required to actually identify that bird. But I'm also honored because this comes from you, from the Audubon Society. The Audubon Society has a huge reputation worldwide. You, because you are the society, probably don't know that. But I know it because I'm not a member of this society, and I hear people talking about you around the world. And your example is of huge importance. So an honor that comes from you is of huge importance. You, I know, started as a bird organization primarily. And with one of your great occupations and excitements and achievements and pleasures of your members is that you are able to look at birds and identify birds. And that's very important. And I'm sure it is absolutely central to you and will remain so. But you've also taken a step on from that, because you've become concerned about what we are doing to this planet of ours. And in that, I follow in your footsteps. I too started making bird programs about the natural world because I love it, and because it's such a great excitement and reward and delight. I don't particularly want to make programs about catastrophe and doom, but we have to. Just as you have taken this courageous step and progressed from being simply concerned with identifying birds to taking a responsibility to care for what it is that you love. Sometimes people say to me, aren't you too gloomy about all the disasters that you go on talking about? How can you go on and on about the catastrophes that wait us around the corner, and the catastrophes indeed that are happening now? And the answer is that you have to be concerned. You have no alternative but to be concerned. And also, let us not minimize the scale of the problem that faces us. Never before in history, ever in the history of the human race, have all peoples of all persuasions, of all faiths and political persuasions around the world come together to deal with a global problem, which is what has to happen. I suppose the only parallel that I can think of is a small-scale one, but nonetheless a real one. Back in the 1940s, late 1940s, people realized that whales were disappearing from the ocean, and the reason was that we, human beings, were killing them. It took 40 years until the 80s before all the maritime nations of the world came together and decided that they would do something about the killing of whales, because if they didn't, whales were doomed to disappearance. It wasn't a universal solution, but it was about 80% of the maritime nations who agreed that. And they achieved something. The whales are now coming back. That is an achievement. But the problem that faces us now is bigger than that. I am not despairing that we will find a solution. We've been close to it. We were close to it in Paris. And things are happening. I believe that actually we are beginning to deal with this problem worldwide. And one of the reasons that I believe that that is the case is that young people are passionate about this. In every country, all around the world, young people are realizing that the future has to be looked for and cared for and fought for, and it's theirs, not ours, it's theirs. I believe that we are on the cusp of turning the problems about conservation. And if we are, it'll be due to, in no small measure, the sort of things that you, as a society, have stood up for and have cared for and are fighting for. So an award from you is something to be treasured, and I shall do so. Thank you, Sam.